Live from the Meridian Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome back to Battles of the American Civil War with your hosts, your humble and lovely host, Bang and Dang, back at it once again. Kick off our second episode of 1864 with another 5 battles. 1864 is not, they need to get out of winter quarters and do some fucking, some stuff. Because these battles are not looking good for us coming into the next few, even the next few weeks after this. But like we said, we do all the battles. Stuff doesn't even pick up until Sherman does his little march to the sea in November of this year. So we got a long ways before anything significant happens with this war. And then it's over with.
It's already over with.
And then it's over with.
It's been over with since 1863.
The Confederates hanging on by a thread.
Not even hanging on.
Well, they're trying. Yep. They are trying. We got 5 battles for you today. Meridian, which is actually a campaign, but nothing going on there really. Olustee, Okolona, which is part of that Meridian campaign. Dalton, Georgia, and the Battle of Walkerton. Yep, but you already know how we roll. Go check out our YouTube at youtube.com/Bang Dang Network. Don't know why I keep saying youtube.com before it. You can look at our exclusive Dart League over there for all you guys that are fans of darts. Plus, we post clips, shorts, and full episodes every day that they're released the same day as podcast apps. Speaking of podcast apps, you're on Spotify or Apple. Give us a review. Let us know how you're liking this series or the episode in particular. Give us some feedback. Starting out, Battle of Meridian or Campaign of Meridian, the Meridian Campaign or the Meridian Expedition, whatever you want to call it, takes place February 3rd through March 6, 1864, from Vicksburg, Mississippi to Meridian, Mississippi, by the Union Army of the Tennessee, led by Major General William Tecumseh Sherman. After the Chattanooga campaign, Union forces under Sherman returned to Vicksburg and headed eastward toward Meridian.
All right.
Meridian was an important railroad center and was home to a Confederate arsenal, military hospital, and prisoner of war stockade, as well as the headquarters for a number of state offices.
Fantastic.
Ooh, you need to take that then, huh?
I'm sure they will. All right. Sherman, he planned to take Meridian. And also, if the situation was favorable, he wanted to push on to Selma, Alabama.
Oh, Selma.
He also wished to threaten Mobile.
Isn't that where they did their
Selma?
little walk to Selma?
I think so. He also wished that,
MLK. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, Selma. He also wished to threaten the old Mobile enough to force the old Rebs to reinforce the defenses. While Sherman set out on February 3rd, 1864, with the main force of 20,000 men from Vicksburg, he ordered Brigadier General William Soy Boy Smith to lead a cavalry force of 7,000 men from Memphis, Tennessee, south through Okolona, Mississippi, along the Mobile and Ohio Railroad. He wanted to meet the rest of the Union force at Meridian.
Counter the threat, Confederate President Jefferson Davis ordered troops to the area from other localities.
Okay.
The Confederate commander in the area, Lieutenant General Leonidas Polk, consolidated a number of commands in and around Morton, Mississippi, but lost his nerve and retreated rapidly eastward. He said, I don't want to do it.
Right.
On the journey towards Meridian, Sherman ordered several feints into other regions of the state to keep Polk guessing about Sherman's true point of attack.
Oh, wow.
He said, I'm going to act like I'm going here, but we're really going here. And maybe Leonidas Polk, we haven't heard his name in a while either.
No. That's good, right?
No.
Sure.
The Confederates.
Right. Sherman also asked Major General Nathaniel Banks. Haven't heard him in a while.
That's true.
Unit commander of the Department of Gulf at New Orleans. He said to have boats maneuvering as if they were preparing to attack Mobile. Doing this forced the Confederates to keep troops from leaving Mobile to aid Meridian in case of an attack on the old Gulf. To further confuse Polk, Sherman sent gunboats and infantry up the Yazoo River. Sent it up the Yazoo to divert his attention. Cavalry units commanded by Major General Stephen Lee. Who the hell's that guy?
Had him multiple times.
Wow. They periodically skirmished with Sherman's forces.
As Sherman approached Meridian, he met stiffer resistance from the combined forces, but steadily moved on. Polk finally realized that he could not stop Sherman, and he was like a Sherman tank, and was convinced he was headed not for Meridian, but for Mobile. Polk finally realized he could not stop Sherman and was convinced he was headed not for Meridian, but for Mobile. Oh. So he decided to evacuate Meridian on February 14th. That's not a good choice.
Right.
Played right into his hand there, Polk. Fall back to Demopolis, Alabama, and prepare to launch a rear attack, leaving Meridian and its surrounding territory to the mercy of the enemy.
Oh, wow.
While evacuating, Polk and his army began removing some railroad rolling stock to McDowell's Bluff.
Wow. Brigadier General Smith, he never reached Meridian. He and his troops met rebel resistance led by Major General Nathaniel Bedford Forrest. Hey, all right, yeah. They did that at West Point, Mississippi. Forrest and his army forced Smith to begin a retreat to Tennessee. When Forrest saw that Smith's army retreating, he ordered his troops to chase down that army. Forrest caught Smith and his troops in Okolona, Mississippi, and he forced them to retreat more rapidly after the defeat at the battle which we're going to do here. Mm-hmm. Battle of Okolona on the 22nd of February, 1864, which ultimately resulted in General Sherman's entire left flank being eliminated during this campaign. Ooh, gotta have that left flank.
Right, or any flank. Sherman's army reached Meridian February 14th. It was old Valentine's Day, 1864. Is Valentine's Day a thing then? I think probably. It was. Still unaware of Smith's defeat at West Point and the one to come at Okolona, Sherman decided to continue waiting for Smith in Meridian until the morning of February 20th. Damn.
Oh, he had another thing coming.
When he gave up and returned to Vicksburg. While he and his army were waiting, Sherman ordered his troops to, quote-unquote, wipe the appointed meeting place off the map by destroying the railroads and burning much of the area to the ground. Sherman's troop destroyed 115 miles of railroad. Wow. 61 bridges, 6,075 feet of trestle work, 20 locomotives, 28 cars, and 3 steam sawmills.
Damn, wow, dude. Dink. No reason.
Well, why?
Now you guys are going to have to come back here in 2 years from now and rebuild it all.
That's fine.
After the troops departed, inhabitants of the city were without food for some days.
Oh, geez,
but
Gaza.
The soldiers had not.
What, was this Gaza?
Right. But the soldiers had not directly inflicted any personal injuries during this attack. Yeah, right. I bet you they're hiding all kinds of injuries. After the destruction of the economic and military infrastructure of Meridian, Sherman is reported to have said that Meridian, with its depots, storehouses, arsenal, hospitals, offices, hotels, and cantonments, whatever the hell those are, they no longer exist.
Wow.
Cantonments? What's cantonments?
Cantonments is a military quarters.
Oh, cool. I can just say that.
Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and other parts of South Asia. That's where, it's from the French word canton, meaning corner or district. Okay. So military district, pretty much. Right. Okay, I get it. Just say that, dude.
Right.
Jeez.
Encampments.
When Sherman left Meridian, heading west by way of Canton, Missouri, he was still unaware of Smith's defeat. So he began, what is Smith doing? No, buddy came to talk to Sherman and say, hey, dude, this guy's just getting his ass whooped over here.
Well, I'm pretty sure all the telegraph lines are gone.
Still got you guys messengers.
Right.
Well, he began looking for Smith and his force after this. He did not discover what happened to Smith until he arrived back at Vicksburg. Sherman had destroyed some important Confederate transportation facilities, but was unable to continue into Alabama. In his memoirs, published in 1885, Sherman denies any intention of going to Mobile.
Oh, you liar.
He says, I guess, in the book, in the following letter to General Banks of January 31st, written from Vicksburg before starting from Meridian, it will be seen clearly that I indicated my intention to keep up the delusion of an attack on Mobile by land, whereas I promised him to be back to Vicksburg by the 1st of March. Well, I mean, if there's a letter existing, I guess.
Yeah, that's just a way to cover his ass. A summary of skirmishes and battles
during this Meridian campaign.
February 3rd, General Sherman's column left Vicksburg and faced multiple skirmishes at Liverpool Heights. That was the 3rd of February. Very next day on 4th, Champions Hill, Queens Hill, Edwards Ferry, and near Bolton Depot. February 5th, we had a battle at Baker's Creek, Clinton, and Jacksonville skirmishes.
Right.
And Jackson. February 6th through the 18th, advance from Memphis, Tennessee to Wyatt, Mississippi. Then 6th February, there was a skirmish at Hillsborough. Very next day on the 7th, there were skirmishes at Brandon, Morton, and Sataracha. February 8th, Coldwater Ferry near Morton, and then near and at Senatobia. February 9th, there was a skirmish at Yazoo City, but it was occupied by Union forces until the 6th of March. Oh, that's pretty cool.
This next episode will actually have the Battle of Yazoo City, which, I might add, wasn't included into the official battles from the Battles Park thing that we're doing it off of. I just included it because it's kind of significant to this, I guess.
February 10th, skirmishes at Hillsborough and Morton. 11th of February, Brigadier General Will Soyboy Smith, his column advanced from Collierville, Tennessee, with further skirmishes at Rayford's
Plantation.
12th February, you got Wall Hill and Holly Springs. There were little skirmishes there, some blood stains. February 13th, skirmishes at Wyatt. 13th and 14th, skirmishes between Chunky Creek and Meridian. 14th through the 20th, Meridian was occupied by Unions. 15th to the 17th, further skirmishes at Marion Station. 16th February, Lauderdale Springs. 17th February, skirmishes near Pontotoc and Holtka Swamp. 18th February, skirmish near Okolona and Aberdeen. 19th February, we had skirmishes in Houston, Egypt Station, and near Meridian. 20th February, we had skirmishes near West Point. 21st February, we got Ellis's Bridge, West Point, Prairie Station, and Okolona. 21st to the 22nd at Union Station. I think it was just Union.
Or Union, yeah.
We had skirmishes on the 2nd of...
Imagine being Confederates and
right.
your town's called Union.
Right. Skirmishes on the 22nd of February included the Battle of Okolona and near Ivy's Hill, and also Tallahatchie. 23rd February, skirmish near New Albany, and a skirmish at Tippah River, and also Canton. February 25th, we had one at Hudsonville. 26th, near Canton. 27th, Madisonville and Sharon. And 28th, Pearl River, Mississippi. Then the 29th, we had one near Canton.
Again, huh?
And then the 2nd at Canton, near Yazoo City, and as well. The 3rd of March, we had a skirmish at Liverpool, Brownsville, and General William Tecumseh Sherman's column arrived at Vicksburg on the 4th of March.
All right, well, that's the Meridian campaign for you, I guess. Nothing doing there, really. Next up, Battle of Olustee, or the Battle of Ocean Pond, which was fought in Baker County, Florida. We're going back to Florida. Ain't been there in a while.
Ocean Pond, is it Salt Lake or something? Is it a salt?
Salt Pond? Olustee, Florida? Which occurred February 20th, 1864. It was the largest battle fought in Florida during the whole war.
Oh, really?
From the start of the war,
Wow.
Florida primarily served as a supplier of essential provisions, particularly beef and salt.
Oh.
You needed that for the Confederacy. The importance of these supplies escalated significantly after the fall of Vicksburg,
I bet.
as it served the eastern part of the Confederacy from beef and supplies originating west of the Mississippi. Yeah, after Vicksburg, they're like, what are we going to do?
Yep, that is true. Additionally, Florida became a refuge for an increasing number of pro-Reb deserters and pro-Union Floridians, which seemingly made it more vulnerable target for raids and assaults by Union forces. 13th January, year 1864. President Lincoln, he wrote to Major General Quincy Gilmore, commander of the Union's Department of South at Hilton Head, South Carolina. He said he was asking him that he take steps to reconstruct a loyal state government in Florida. Can you do that, please?
Well, by the following month, Gilmore ordered an expedition into Florida to secure Union enclaves, sever Confederate supply routes, and recruit black soldiers. Brigadier General Truman Seymour, in command of the expedition, landed troops at Jacksonville in an area already seized by the Union in March of 1862, which I'm pretty sure we
when
have
the
that.
lawns are blue.
Really? Seymour's forces made several raids into the northeast and north central Florida.
Hey.
During these raids, he met little resistance, seized several Confederate camps, captured small bands of troops and artillery pieces, and liberated slaves while he was at it.
All right.
But Seymour was under orders from Gilmore not to advance deep into the state.
No, you don't want to do that. Wow. Seymour's preparations at Hilton Head had consigned the Rebs' command in the key port city of Charleston, South Carolina. General P.G.T. Bogart, where's this guy been? Right. He correctly guessed that Seymour's objective was Florida and believed that these Union actions posed enough of a threat for him to detach reinforcements under Georgian Alfred H. Colquitt to bolster Florida's defenses and stop both Seymour. Colquitt, he arrived in time to reinforce Florida troops under the command of Brigadier General Joseph Finnegan.
Oh, Finnegan, huh? As Colquitt troops began arriving, Seymour, without Gilmore's knowledge, began a new drive across North Florida, with the capture of Tallahassee as a possible objective.
Hey.
Following the Florida Atlantic and Gulf Central Railroad, Seymour led his 5,500 men in the direction of Lake City.
Oh, yeah, it's Florida.
At approximately 2:30 in the afternoon of February 20th, the Union force approached General Finnegan's 5,000 Confederates who were entrenched near Olustee Station.
Oh, we got an equal battle here. I like it.
Well, yeah, more or less, right? Finnegan sent out an infantry brigade to meet Seymour's advance units and lure them into the Confederate entrenchments, but this plan went awry.
Of course it did, right? The opposing force, the opposing forces met at Ocean Pond, and the battle began. Seymour made the mistake of assuming he was once again facing Florida militia units.
Oh no, buddy! This is a regular regiment there, buddy.
Right,
or
he's like-
brigade or whatever you want to call them.
He's like, man, we keep on routing these guys with ease. So he committed his troops piecemeal into the battle. Finnegan and Seymour, they both reinforced their engaged unit troops there in the afternoon, and the battle took place in open pine woods. The Union forces began to attack, but were savagely repulsed by withering barrages of rifle and cannon fire from the old Rebs.
Oh, the battle raged throughout the afternoon until, As Finnegan committed the last of his reserves, the Union line broke and began to retreat.
Oh, shit.
Finnegan did not exploit their retreat, though.
Course.
He allowed most of the fleeing Union forces to reach Jacksonville.
Oh, man, come on.
The Confederates did make a final attempt to engage the rear element of Seymour's forces just before nightfall, but they were repulsed by elements of the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry Regiment and the 35th United States Colored Troops, both composed of black soldiers. I would assume the latter for sure did.
Oh, the old 54th.
Right, but the latter is literally called the United States Colored Troops.
That's fantastic. Right. Union casualties, 203 moited, 1,100.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 1,152 wounded, 506 missing. Total of 1,861.
Oh, my.
34% of that little brigade there. Confederate losses were quite lower, 93 moited, 847 wounded, 6 missing, a total of 946 casualties in all, but still 19%.
That's outrageously high for both of them.
Yeah, Union forces also lost 6 artillery pieces and 39 horses.
Perhaps more
Right.
worse than the men killed. No offense to the men. But.
The ratio of Union casualties to the number of troops involved made this the second bloodiest battle of the war for the Union. Wow. With 265 casualties for 1,000 troops.
If you're going by per capita, huh?
I guess.
Wow.
Something like that.
So, soldiers on both sides were veterans of the great battles in the eastern and western theaters of war. Oh, damn. So most of these guys were already like in some hella shit.
Hell yeah.
But many of them remarked in letters and diaries that they had never undergone such terrible fighting as the one here today.
Really?
The Confederate dead were buried at Okolona Cemetery. There's an Okolona Cemetery in every single city.
Everywhere.
Okolona Cemetery in nearby Lake City. Union losses caused northern authorities to question the necessity of further Union involvement in the militarily insignificant state of Florida. Yeah, let them get their little beef and salt.
Right.
Who cares?
Jeez. Morning of 22nd February 1864, Union forces were still retreating to Jacksonville. 54th Massachusetts was ordered to countermarch back to 10 Mile Station. The locomotive of a train carrying wounded Union soldiers had broken down, and the wounded were in danger of capture. When the 54th arrived, the men attached ropes to the engine and cars and manually pulled the train. Damn.
It's not even that hard. They got 5,000 men.
Right. And approximately 3 miles, they pulled it to Camp Finnegan, where horses were secured to help pull the train.
After that, the train was pulled by both men and horses to Jacksonville for a total distance of 10 miles.
Damn.
It took 42 hours to pull that distance.
Holy shit.
In the South, the battle was seen as a spirit-raising rout. One Georgia newspaper referred to the Union forces as walking 40 miles over the most barren land of the South, frightening the salamanders and the gophers, and getting a terrible thrashing.
Oh, shit.
The Confederate Congress even passed a resolution to officially thank the rebel soldiers.
Oh, shit.
Well, geez, guys. It wasn't that important.
Well, to this day, the battlefield is commemorated by the Olustee Battlefield Historic State Park, a part of the Florida State Park system. This park, located within Osceola, I think it's Osceola or something. Osceola National Forest on United States Route 90. Battlefield is partially protected as state park and part of the National Forest. Part of it is privately held land on the south side of the United States 90. However, as of 2022, there is still no monument to the Union dead of this battle. Only the Confederates.
Only the Confederates. I'm surprised, actually.
Right.
President's Day weekend, each February, an annual historical reenactment is conducted on the site of the battle.
Oh, no shit.
Thousands of reenactors from across the U.S. and even from overseas have participated over the years.
No shit.
What overseas people going to do? The reenactment, what are they like? Yeah, whatever. The reenactment of the Battle of Olustee is co-sponsored by 4 organizations, which are the Olustee Battlefield Historic State Park Citizen Support Organization.
Wow.
Way too many. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Recreation and Parks Division, the USDA Forest Service, Osceola National Forest Division, and the Blue-Gray Army, Inc.
Oh, Blue-Gray Army Inc. I've never heard that before.
I bet you they do some nice little reenactments across
the
country.
I'd like to be a part of one.
Right.
And lithograph of the battle was printed. I want to be a rebel, though.
You ever seen that video of they're doing a battle reenactment somewhere, and two black dudes.
Smoking?
No, 2 black dudes walk up and they're like got chains on them and they're like tattered clothes or like slaves or something. They're like, "You guys are doing a reenactment, make it," and they're like, "Get out of here now! We don't want none of that shit here." And they're like, "What do you matter? This is part of the Civil War stuff. You can't do a reenactment without that." And they're like, "Get out of here!" It's fucking hilarious. And of course, it was all like Southerners.
Right.
It was like the somewhere in the South, like all these Southerner fucking. Confederate Army supporters still. Oh, wow. That was hilarious.
Wow. A lithograph of the battle was printed by the firm of Kurtz and Allison in 1894. It depicts soldiers of the 8th United States Colored Troops advancing against Rebs entrenchments. While frequently used in media about the Battle of Olustee, the image is inaccurate and reveals the artist's ignorance about the events. During this battle, Confederates operated well in advance of their prepared positions. Neither side fought from behind fortifications as the fighting took place in a pine forest. and there were very few large cleared areas.
Yeah, and the picture of it, they show
Garbage.
rebels behind a bunch of trees and shit.
It. Yeah. Stupid.
That's the picture I'm going to use for this YouTube video, though. So,
Wow.
with that, on to the Battle of Okolona. It's February 22nd, 1864.
The Okolona schooners.
Spooners. They're the Spooners. It took place in Chickasaw County, Mississippi. Obviously, between Confederate and Union forces. Stupid. Right. Meridian was an important railroad center and was the objective of a campaign launched from Vicksburg, which we've already said by Sherman. He brought 20 Gs with him to the outskirts of town, 20,000 men, that is. 7,000 cavalry under Brigadier General Smith's command were stationed in Memphis. And on February 1st, these were ordered to leave from Meridian along the Mobile and Ohio Railroad and rendezvous with the main Union force February 10th. We all know that didn't happen.
Right. Well, Sherman, he feinted his way towards Meridian to throw off old Reb forces. Smith delayed his own advance for about 10 days before leaving on 11th February. His force moved unopposed through the countryside, destroying railroads and crops, as well as picking up 1,000 slaves.
For use of his own.
Yeah, he ain't free yet, boy. Right. 16th February, he passed through New Albany. His progress slowed due to muddy roads. February 18th, he drove a old Reb force from West Point. It was about 90 miles from Meridian. Jeez. Just outside West Point on the 20th of February when Sherman eventually left his position in the town and returned to Vicksburg, fearing that Smith's whereabouts. Smith, hearing of this, he turned about and headed for
So
Okolona.
how is... Oh, wait a minute. What we just described earlier, Sherman had no idea that Smith is doing anything that he's doing right now, but
Supposedly.
all of a sudden Smith is hearing about Sherman going back to Vicksburg? How?
Right. Yeah, get out of here.
That makes no sense.
Because they lie.
Right. Later, February 20th, Smith fought an initial battle with the Confederate forces under Forrest's command at Prairie Station and Aberdeen.
Oh, shit.
February 21st, having decided to withdraw to West Point because of concern over the size of the Confederate forces and the fate of the slaves if they were captured.
Yeah.
Smith was lured into the swampy area around the Tombigbee River by a Confederate cavalry brigade under Colonel Jeffrey Forrest. Smith was again forced to retreat, leaving a rear guard, which followed his main force 2 hours later. So we got another Forrest in here, Colonel Jeffrey Forrest.
Oh, look at this. So Colonel Jeffrey Forrest, he arrived to conduct the battle as the rear guard. What? Different Forrest?
I don't know who it is. I think it must be the colonel, not the general.
Colonel Forrest, he arrived to conduct the battle as the rear guard began to retreat. Led the first attack at dawn on the 22nd February on the prairie south of Okolona. United States forces had dismounted and constructed barricades around their positions. Forrest, he began in frontal assault and probing flank attacks. And with the old Rebs reinforcements, cut gaps in the Union battle lines and prompted a general retreat, with 5 cannons being abandoned. Oh, shit. Look at them getting some artillery pieces.
Cannon abandoned.
Yeah, abandoning cannons. So many abandoned cannons.
You're abandoning so many cannons.
On the battlefield floor. The Union forces reformed on a ridge. And during a flurry of attacks and counterattacks, Colonel Forrest, the Major General's younger brother, was killed by a shot to the neck.
Shot to the neck, and Colonel Forrest was killed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he allegedly died in the arms of his brother, who muttered, Jeffrey. Faltering after the colonel's death, the Confederate attack was revitalized by the older Forrest, who led a charge to exact vengeance and break the Union positions. During the pursuit, Forrest and his group were briefly overwhelmed before Colonel McCullough from the Rebs arrived with reinforcements.
Wow.
Union forces began an 11-mile running battle as they withdrew, falling back through a series of defensive positions, including plantation and roadblocks.
Wow.
However, these positions were quickly abandoned in the face of the Confederate
I
attacks.
bet they were. You had a pissed off bro coming at you.
Like, you motherfuckers.
Oh, man. Towards the end of that very day, the Union forces drew into 3 lines on a field, charged the old Rebs, who used volley fire to disrupt both charges at a range of 40 yards. Facing such defeat, Smith began a further withdrawal. Old Forrest, he quickly ordered the end of the pursuit due to lack of ammo and a broken heart. But Smith was forced to contend with other Mississippi militia units for the rest of his retreat to the Tennessee border. He's like, don't worry, we got some militia guys lined up. At Collierville, Tennessee, Smith crossed the state line on 26 February with the remainder of his forces, where he was reprimanded for disobeying his initial orders to start out to start out for Meridian on the 1st of February.
He didn't start out till February 11th. Well, idiot.
Yeah, no. Due to failing health, Smith left the military in 1864 of September and returned to civilian life.
Poor guy.
Right. The Old American Battlefield Trust and his partners have acquired and preserved more than 269 acres. That's 1.09 kilometers squared of the Okolona battlefield.
All right, good for them. What brings us to the first battle of Dalton, which was a series of skirmishes that took place February 22nd through the 27th in 1864, clearly in Whitfield County, Georgia. At the suggestion of Union Major General Ulysses S. Grant, Major General George H. Thomas decided to probe General Joseph Johnston's strength to determine if the loss of two full divisions to reinforce Confederate forces elsewhere had made the Confederate Army of Tennessee vulnerable to Union attack.
Oh, Johnston's still hanging strong, huh?
He's still there. That's the other Johnson, though. The other Johnson got killed.
Right.
Actually, just put out a short on that on our YouTube channel, Bang Dang Network.
Check it out.
Highest ranking officer ever killed in any battle involving Americans.
It's crazy.
February 22nd, Thomas began the reconnaissance movement, which consisted of 3 columns of old Union troops.
Oh, fantastic. After several days of intense skirmishing, Thomas's army retreated, since it was obvious that Johnston was still capable of repelling a major Union attack. Thomas's forces had lost 300 officers, and men killed or wounded.
I'd say he's pretty capable.
Right, against 140 men for the old Rebs. Jeez. Much of the battlefield landscape has been compromised by the Interstate 75.
Oh, that damn I-75.
Development along U.S. Route 41, and the growth of the city of Dalton and subdivision of the Crow Valley, and also Tunnel Hill areas.
Okay. What are you going to do?
You guys need to be in all these places.
Right. Something, right?
Right.
Brings us to the last battle of the day, the Battle of Walkerton.
Walkerton, huh? Where's that at?
Which was an engagement. Just an engagement. It occurred March 2nd, 1864 in Walkerton, King and Queen County, Virginia.
Oh, back in Virginia.
During the Kilpatrick-Dahlgren raid.
Really?
The campaign started with Brigadier General Hugh Judson Kilpatrick, leaving Stevensburg February 28th with 4,000 men, intending to raid Richmond. You need a lot more than 4,000 men.
You ain't kidding.
The force rode along the Virginia Central Railroad, tearing up track, while an advance force was sent south along the James River. What if they would have took Richmond? All that track's fucked.
Right.
The plan was that the advance force, led by Colonel Ulrich Dahlgren, son of Rear Admiral John Dahlgren, should penetrate Richmond's defenses from the rear and release prisoners at Belle Isle.
Oh, they thought so, right?
I thought so.
Well, when Kilpatrick reached Richmond on the 1st of March, Dahlgren had not arrived.
How is he reaching Richmond? They have no defenses?
I guess not. Kilpatrick had to withdraw because he was under pursuit by the old Reb cavalry, led by Major General Wade Hampton, whoever that guy is.
He sure ain't no Jeb Stuart.
Hampton caught up with
Well, at
Kilpatrick.
least he's pursuing. Jeb Stewart's still wandering the countryside. We don't even know where that guy is.
Right. He's like, I pray that our army's doing well at Gettysburg.
Right.
By now, by now Jefferson Davis is sitting in the White House.
Washington, D.C., maybe.
Hampton caught up with Kilpatrick near Old Choich on the 2nd of March. But the old Federales were able to take refuge with elements of Major General Benjamin Butler's command at New Kent Courthouse. Meanwhile, Dahlgren had found himself unable to penetrate Richmond's defenses, and he tried to escape northwards.
We knew that was going to happen.
Obviously, the group became separated on 2nd of March, and Dahlgren, along with about 100 men, was ambushed by a detachment of the 9th Virginia Cavalry and Home Guards in King and Queen County near Walkerton. Oh.
Well, unfortunately for him, Dahlgren was killed.
Oh, shit.
Most of his men were captured.
That was a suicide mission anyway.
The gravest implications of the raid came as a result of the papers found on Dahlgren's body.
Oh, shit.
The papers allegedly contained an official Union order to burn Richmond and assassinate Jefferson Davis and his cabinet. Meade, Kilpatrick, and Lincoln all disavowed any knowledge of the Dahlgren papers, and their authenticity has been disputed.
Really?
At the time, however, the affair caused a great public outcry among Southerners, who accused the North of initiating a quote-unquote war of extermination.
So you're telling me this Dahlgren guy was roguing it out there?
Operating on his own. And number one, why would it cause outrage?
Right.
You're telling me that the South didn't have plans to assassinate Lincoln and do all that shit, the same thing? Get the fuck out of here.
No, come on.
They got found out. Fucking Michigan stealing signs and shit. That's going to do it for this Battles of American Civil War episode.
Decent.
I mean, it's all right stuff, but nothing significant. Nothing. No territory changed hand, and nothing happened.
That Florida one would have been huge for the Union if they would have.
Clearly not. They clearly said we're getting out of here because it's nothing to us. So
it would have been huge.
I don't think it would have.
Stop that beef and
They're
salt.
like, they're like, we'll just take it when the war's over. Right. Anyway, so. Yeah, I don't know about this.
That damn salty beef.
I don't know about this year of 1864 starting out so far, guys. But next week we do have the Battle of Yazoo City.
Well, guess what, though? The old rebels, they won every one of those skirmishes.
Well, right.
We haven't seen that in a while.
The Battle of Yazoo City is kind of a decent one, which we'll have next. Also, the Battle of Fort DeRussy. We've already looked it up. Battle of Laredo and probably the Battle of Paducah to round things out. Maybe even more. I don't know. Every single one of these are nothing
Dang,
burgers.
the Rebs at 3,000 to the Union 650.
In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battles, Union only win one out of 5 of those. What is the Battle of DeRussy? Fort DeRussy? And it's nothing. Yeah, we're going to have like 4 or 5 more battles.
Damn, Union had 10,000 men to the South 350. And only 2 killed from the South.
And only 48. Well, South, they must have been in, they're in a fort, though.
317 captured.
Well, these guys must have been in a fort at Fort DeRussy.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have like 4 or 5 battles next week.
Oh, William Byrd, huh?
Battle of Mansfield is our next A battle, which would probably be a couple episodes from now.
What, the Rebs A battle?
We've already went through this. Battle of Wilderness, I think, is our next big
that was inconclusive.
Battle that's going to be by itself.
Damn, the next 2 A battles are inconclusive.
Besides the Confederate one. Right. Up here. Spotsylvania Courthouse, too, yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of fighting in Virginia taking place again. There's like 1861 and 2 all over again. 1863.
Damn, look at the Rebs. They got the last 2 inconclusives, and then the last 2 A battles, they win. Wow.
Well, good for them.
Wow, they did it a little too late.
Right, exactly. Well, I don't know, because at the beginning of the war, they were the only ones winning A battles.
That's true.
So that'll be then. In the meantime, go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network. Give us a subscription. We post full episodes of not only this, but also Outlaws and Gunslingers, Lee and Corey on the Case, and our exclusive Dart League, which we're in season 3 of 8 seasons we've recorded so far. So we got a lot of content over on YouTube. And if you listen on Spotify or Apple, give us a review. And we shall be back for more Confederate and Union shenanigans next week on Battles of the American Civil War. We are the Month of Michigan this week.
Bang, dang.